Hi guys, so here I'm watching a video where OAN, One America News Network, reports that the Trump administration is thinking about a new gun restriction law where they want to implement a social credit score for guns. So apparently, according to this law, those different devices like Alexa and this other thing from Apple, I don't even know what it's called, and so they will be allowed to listen on in to you and to determine whether you are mentally healthy enough to own a gun. And I think this will also include like social media postings and so forth. So this is some pretty crazy shit. So here's my take on this. I consider myself as really conservative to the bone and super pro-capitalist, and I tend to be a Trump supporter. I think he's done great things so far, and if I was able to vote for him, I probably would, but I'm not an American citizen, so I can't vote, but I consider myself an American at heart. I used to live in the US, and in my opinion, the US is the greatest country in the world. So I am definitely a conservative, but this doesn't sound right, what he's proposing here. And also, this shows me that this political system requires a deeper reform, and I think direct democracy is the way to go here, because the way Trump reacted to the shootings that took place, when was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago in El Paso, and the other shooting I forgot where. This was he reacted too quickly. He was immediately calling for red flag laws, or he said that he was supporting red flag laws. This was like it appears it was an emotional reaction. And then after that, he kind of backtracked and he said, we actually don't need new background checks because we already have a lot of background checks. So we don't need a new one. So he tried to like backtrack, right? But still, I think this was a mistake of his. I'm totally pro-gun. I think one of the best ways to lower crime rates and to lower murder rates is actually to increase gun possession among the population. And you can see this especially in crime-ridden areas like Chicago, Baltimore. They have the most strict gun laws in the U.S. and they have the highest crime rates, and there is a strong correlation between those two things. And I think there are certain smaller cities in the U.S. that actually there's at least one community that I know of that actually requires you to own a gun if you live in their city, and that community has very, very low crime rates from what I understand. So I think I'm totally pro gun possession, pro gun ownership, and this is what Trump is proposing here is not a good point, and this is something he should have been prepared for, because he was acting emotionally. He was unprepared. He was he was off guard, because mass shootings happened under essentially any and every president. So he should have been prepared for it. He should have said something like, this is a huge tragedy that happened, and I feel for all the families who were affected by it, but we won't be able to stop evil. We can't stop evil. We can't eradicate evil. We can never do this. We will never be able to stop mass shootings. But what we can do is we can be better prepared, and we can be better prepared, and we can protect ourselves, and we can arm ourselves in order to protect ourselves. You know, something like this. He should have said something like this, and he should have been prepared for it. But he wasn't, and he just totally fell into the Democrat trap by immediately calling for red flag laws. This is wrong. But this here, what they're proposing with a social credit score, I mean, this is some crazy shit. I mean, this is some totalitarian, total surveillance, China type, crazy insanity, in my opinion. So I hope this will not get passed. I hope it will be watered down. But this also shows, you know, overall, I think Trump has done a great job so far, but there is no president that's perfect. And so this, you know, if he will propose this law and if it passes, you know, this will be another case in point. Like, there is no president that is perfect. There is no one guy that does everything right. And there's always the greatest Republican president always does some socialist shit that's just is not good. You know, any measure of socialism is bad. That's my conviction. And this is another one. This is another example. So I hope this will not pass. And yeah, those are my thoughts on this crazy proposition.